just wanted to respond to Charlamagne's so-called apology that he did on Breakfast Club 105.1 to a basketball player that he spoke badly of he defamed the family, the father, and so forth. It might have been factual, it might not have been factual, but the information that Charlamagne gave out was information that was available to the public, but it wasn't going to be found by the public unless somebody did an intentional search for that information. So that information wasn't floating out there for all of the basketball players' fans to see and know. And some of them may have known in private information about his family, and certainly people who knew the family or who lived in the area or who were affected by things that the family did, they would have known what happened. But for the general public, people like me, who I didn't even know the basketball player, frankly, I wasn't that much into it, and then to find out who the basketball player was, why he was angry, and then the information that was intentionally leaked by Charlamagne on a national podcast or broadcast by Breakfast Club 105.1 was shocking. And the apology, he keeps saying he did everything unintentionally, which is a blatant lie. You can't put a lie like that multiple times in your apology and expect the apology to be sincere. No, the apology was not sincere because all of the acts that Charlamagne did were intentional. He intentionally looked up all of this information and did background checks on this basketball player's family. Now, many people in various black communities have a lot of garbage in their past. A lot of people have people in their past who did drugs, or people in their family who may have injured somebody or even killed somebody. Maybe they're avenging the rape of a child. I don't know the facts. Or, a lot of people have soldiers in their family and they are trained to kill people in various countries. And a lot of times these people come back with post-traumatic stress disorder and can't even speak about the atrocities. But if we find out what the atrocities are, it's intentional. If we try to bring that information from their war story back to their current life and try to interrupt their life by recounting what they did during the wartime, we kind of let that go. I know I've had a relative who served in the military. I don't believe he was in active war, but he might have been. And I never force him to recount anything, because anything that happened in wartime is something I personally would not be able to understand, having never been in that situation, having never been around those people who are excited about the war, who are promoting war. It's just too foreign for me. So I would never try to take information I found about somebody else and try to use that against a family member, because I have no idea what was going on in that basketball player's family. I have no idea what their problems were. I have no idea of why things happened and why they were having problems, if they did have problems. And I can't say they did or didn't because I don't know. I don't trust Charlamagne. I don't think he is a reliable person. He's lied repeatedly about his raping a girl age 15 when he was age 22. So anything from there is a lie. He's labeled a liar, and I don't trust anything he says. So his apology is a lie because it's filled with lies, and I was very sorry to see that he was following his usual path of lying today as he did his apology to this basketball player. And I think the only thing there that he's angry about, or the only thing that he's trying to diminish this basketball player about, is that when he came out of high school, he didn't excel when playing with a bunch of old guys. Well, no one does. That's why we have training systems. We have training systems where you go in. You know, if you're going to be a doctor, you get trained to meet with the big doctors over years. It might be 2 years, it might be 4 years, it might be 6 years, it might be 8 years. But you don't go in right with the big doctors. But doesn't mean you don't get paid. It doesn't mean you don't get the recognition. But it just means they have skills that you as a novice don't have. And there's nothing wrong with that. And certainly, a person should not be humiliated when coming out of high school and they have no power to accelerate their knowledge. They're going to get the knowledge over time, but they don't have it right then. And why in the world are old people dumping on them? I don't understand that mentality. I don't think it's right. It's just like when you're having control of a girl because you gave her knockout drops and you're forcing your body on her, you're raping her, and then you're going to call it having sex. No, you didn't have sex, because sex requires consent, and consent cannot be had after you've given her knockout drops. She is being raped by you and your cousins and your friends and anyone else who goes along with you, maybe your co-workers, maybe other business people, other relatives. We don't know how far this goes with Charlamagne, how many people are involved in these rapes and tortures and so forth of these young women. I know Charlamagne goes on vacations with people, and in many countries, people are poor. They're really happy to see American tourists, especially American tourists with money who want to spend. But they all have kids. That's one thing, no matter what country you go to, you're going to find women and dads and their kids. And if you come in with a rapist mentality and you are planning to give their kids drugs so that you can overtake the kids, have sex with them, and then deny what you did and try to say it was consensual sex if they find your sperm, or say prove it. Okay, your daughter says, I raped her, prove it. Sure, I knocked her out. Sure, she was unconscious most of the time. But prove it. You can. But we don't need to do that. We have enough information that we can go back, retrace what happened, and find out the facts. And from the stories I get of what happened by Charlamagne and the cousins and others he was training to be rapists, to a 15-year-old girl many years ago that broke her heart, broke her body, broke her mind, and she carries the torture with us to this day. We can give her some justice. We can acknowledge what happened to her based on the proof, the paperwork, the facts surrounding the case. Sure, Charlamagne and his cousins may have intimidated the girl, maybe even threatened to beat her up, maybe threatened to make her lose some teeth. Who knows what they threatened this child with? But the mother of the child was a single mother. She's dependent. She had no money. She was living in poverty. She needed help. She saw a man who promised help, and he lied. He lied. He lied and said, I'll take care of her. Nothing will hurt her. We'll take care of her. We'll make sure she's safe. That's like gold to a single mother who's trying to make ends meet financially. Gee, you mean I can go out and go shopping and you're going to help take care of my 15-year-old child? You mean she doesn't have to stay in the house all day? She's 15. She wants to go out and meet people. But I'm afraid. Oh, you're going to take care of her? You're going to make sure nothing happens to her? Thank you. Thank you so much, because we've been fighting. She wants to go out and go to parties, and I keep saying, stay home. But there's nothing for her at home. I'm poor. She wants to go out. And you're offering to help me take care of my child. And you're a grown adult, and I trust your words. You sound sincere. But then the girl is drugged and raped. And she goes with a friend, as if needing protection. She doesn't go alone. She goes with a friend, a very level-headed friend. Both of them, according to what was said in the stories, were given knockout drops, and I forget the word for that. Made incoherent, made unstable. The one friend, according to the story, threw up some of the drugs she had been given, so she was more clear-headed. But the other person, unfortunately, did not throw up, and she had all of that chemical working on her body. She had all of that chemical killing her nerves, her brain, her legs, her arms. She couldn't speak right. She couldn't protect herself. She was helpless. It's like having an orderly in a hospital who's raping your grandmother or something. You know, you just don't believe it. You just don't want to believe it. You're happy for the help. You've got to go to work. Your grandmother needs help in the senior home. The orderly comes in to take care of her cleaning, the bed, whatever. And then he rapes her. He violates her. Or your dad is laying there, a veteran, in bed, needing help. He can't move anymore. He's been poisoned by Agent Orange or some other thing. He's been beaten up by what was the enemy when he was at war. He has injuries to his arms and to his legs. His mind is full of memories that are traumatic, that give him fears that he can't forget. And in comes the orderly, who might look like Charlamagne. And that orderly comes in and smacks him across his face, hits him in his jaw, twists his feet, throws something on him, spits on him, laughs, and leaves, and then goes out and tells the other orderlies what he's done. These are things we do not do. We cannot accept. We are better people than this. We need better leaders than this. I don't care what iHurt Radio wants. I don't care what Schultz wants for his podcast. I don't care what that Breakfast Club wants. These are not the people we want for leaders. These are people who must be taken out of positions of power. This is a guy who wants to be and was the commencement speaker in South Carolina for I guess it's a university, because I gave him, can you believe this, an honorary doctorate degree? What a laugh. That school needs to be closed. The students all need an apology. The students all need to get honorary doctorates. Every single one of them should be granted an honorary doctorate, because the university leaders are so stupid as to have this person with a history of rape leading these innocent students. You see how innocent it is? These are students who are graduating from this college or university, and they don't even know who Charlamagne is. They didn't even look up on the internet what's his background, what kind of problems had he had in the past. Is he qualified to be a good speaker? These are still people being led like lambs to the butcher. He is still grooming them. He is grooming them, saying, I'm a great person, I'm a good person, I'm a leader. I'm going to quote you from a book I read, Eckhart Tolle. I'm going to meet with Dr. Oz. Dr. Oz doesn't care what's going on with our community. You have to do your own research. And leaders, the people at your university, college, must do their job, and they should be held accountable if they bring a rapist in to speak to the graduating class as the honored speaker. Give him an honorary doctorate. Every single one of those people at the university, the deans, all the teachers who sat on the podium, all the people who are on the graduation committee should be fired because they have failed those students and students before them. And every student should be given an honorary doctorate because at that school, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't have any grand meaning. The title is dirt. Anyway, I got off on a tangent. That wasn't really what I was planning to say today. I found a channel. It just popped up. I wasn't looking for it. And this girl puts a lot of time into her podcast. She's been podcasting for years. And she has kept records of what she's done. And she's doing research on topics that are very important to me. I'm very interested in the NCAA. I'm very interested in this controversy about Charlamagne and rape. And her name is Lovely TITV. That's her podcast station. There's a picture here. You should be able to see it. And I'm going to refer you. I don't want to take the content that she has and just put it up on my site because she has worked so hard. She has been a leader in getting all of this content together. And I urge you to go to her site, to subscribe, hit her with a couple of dollars if you can, as a thank you for doing her research and for being available on the podcast for so many years. And follow her. I've just found her today. I'm going to follow her and see how it goes. But I've been really impressed with the 2 podcasts of hers that I've watched. And she seems to have really be sincere in protecting children, in protecting women, even men. You know, a person who rapes will attack boys. You know, it's not just female children that get violated. It's also boys, little boys, men. You can violate a man. You can easily put some of that stuff in his drink, beat him up, poisoning, raping, or poison him with that stuff and then attack his family the same manner or different manner. I mean, all of this stuff is ethics and morals. How do you live? What's your character? What are you like, really? What are you like, really? And that's what we have to figure out about these people who are trying to usurp these positions of leadership. They don't deserve them. They didn't earn them. They're coming in as a wolf in sheep's clothing. They're mixing with the crowd, and a lot of people are being fooled because we just don't have the time to investigate everybody. We assume that other people in leadership have investigated them, but these other people don't care. They don't care about your kids. They don't care about your families. You have to do it yourself. And this one person on her podcast, Lively TITV, seems to be putting in the work. And I've only seen 2 podcasts. I'm going to follow her. But I think I'm going to find out that she's a solid person and that all's going to go well. So talk to you later. Bye.